Have you ever heard the expression that blockchains don't need to be reconciled or eliminate the need for reconciliations altogether? Well, this just isn't true. Ultimately, a blockchain is a subledger to a general ledger. So if you post from a subledger to a general ledger, you have to reconcile back. And reconciling back to a blockchain has some challenges. But with our protocol, TapestryX, we designed in accounting and the ability to be reconciled to. So let's discuss the challenge and the solution. Now let's consider the reconciliation process of a subledger to a general ledger, meaning the entries from the subledger are posted to the general ledger and then reconciled back. So reconciliation is a one-to-one tick and tie subledger to ledger or source to record. You can see that the subledger has outstanding exceptions from prior reconciliations, a starting balance, then transactions with an ending balance. Now there may be posts to the ledger which haven't appeared in the subledger, and therefore it has outstanding transactions as well, with a starting balance, its own transactions, and then an ending balance. And the process of reconciliation is to match the transactions to each other or the unmatched transactions from prior periods. So here we have two transactions matching. Now we have a transaction matching to an unmatched transaction from a prior period, so that clears that exception. Another pair of transactions match, another pair of transactions match. And the final transaction clears from the actual ledger, clears an unmatched transaction from the subledger. So now we have all the matched transactions. That ends that period's reconciliation, but we recognize that we've got an uncleared exception that will still be carried forward, and we have a new exception that will also be carried forward. Now what's interesting to complete the reconciliation is to show that the differences between the unmatched transactions actually equal the differences between the ending balances. And therefore you've accounted for all the transactions that are correct, but knowing that you're still tracking down the exceptions. Now let's consider the reconciliation of a blockchain to a general ledger. How do you reconcile what is a classic blockchain? The problem with blockchains is that they're time-stamped transfers of ownership. So transactions today reference historical balances in any point in the historical record. So those entries and everything in between have to be reconciled every day. Reconciliation is both a positive and negative affirmation process. You're not just accounting for the transactions that you see today back in the history, you're accounting for all the transactions in the record from the start of the blockchain until current day. And as the new transactions affect the past, you've got to reconcile the whole of the past every day, which becomes untenable. Now there's an argument that says, well, you can run an algorithm against the blockchain to generate a reconciliation report, and then you can reconcile to that every day. The problem is that report is no longer part of the blockchain's hashlink record, and therefore is corruptible or not corrupt evident. So the only way to confirm the accuracy of the algorithm and its report is to reconcile the report back to the blockchain. So you're left with the same untenable position. And remember, a reconciliation is proving that everything is the same. Often blockchains are described as immutable. Now they're very hard to corrupt, but they are corrupt evident and they can be corrupted. And the only way to prove that they're not corrupted is to reconcile the whole record every day, which is obviously untenable. Now with TapestryX, we have starting balances, transactions, and ending balances for each asset, which are hash linked into the ledger within each transacting period for real-time, event-driven, one-to-one reconciliations, and each of the periods can be archived. So we're only reconciling the current period and the current balances as you do with the current ledger. Transactions within each period can be archived and active balances are carried forward. This also allows us to post future dated payable receivables in future dated ledgers. With TapestryX, we have a differentiating distributed ledger technology. We're configurable to any asset or life cycle. We're real time, so we're self-synchronizing. We have high performance, we're linearly scalable, and we have high capacity throughput. More importantly, we have double entry accounting, which then allows us to record transacting periods, future dated obligations, which also creates those periods that can be reconciled one-to-one with the downstream general ledger. And we're also interoperable with legacy infrastructure and other networks, so we can be implemented at large or small scale. We have a real-time proof of consistency and completeness across the network without the need for mining consensus or independent validators. So, if you're interested in hearing more, learning more about reconciliations and blockchains, or understanding why TapestryX is a solution to this reconciliation issue, as well as many other challenges for blockchain, please feel free to reach out to me. Thank you for watching.